Hey Rick,
Oh, hey Omar.
how you doing, buddy?
Eh, kind of lazy. So I guess you could say I'm alright.
We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again. No, no.
Okay, gang, welcome to episode 3 of the Legion of Lee podcast 2.0. Whatever you want to call it, I don't give a shit.
You mean
Re-
the three good episodes we have?
Redo what?
You mean the three good episodes we have?
I guess. I mean, every episode we do is classic.
Yeah, but these
And
ones are like the cool hip ones, man.
I get, you know what it is? It's kind of like the remake of any movie because every remake of a movie is better than the original. So we're kind of like it's a good remake.
Unlike most remakes, you're saying.
Well, yeah, all remakes are good, all of them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, kind of like The Wicker Man,
Uh-huh.
House of Wax,
Uh-huh.
Total Recall.
I'm starting to doubt this friendship. I don't think it's gonna work.
You're telling me you didn't. You're telling me that you did not like any of those movies,
Well, I did like the House of Wax because I love how they get their shit fucking beaten in.
and I love Paris Hilton.
I do, I do, I do.
She is a phenomenal actress.
Oh yeah, especially when you fucking get to slap her around.
Exactly.
So my friend, it's been a whole week since we did that one.
I know, and we obviously only talk while we do these.
Yeah, it's like I haven't seen you forever, man. I miss you. I wanted to talk to you.
I miss you too, and you know what? One thing all these podcasts have in common.
Us?
Yeah, me, Hyper Metal Sonic, aka Rick, aka HMS, aka aka.
And AKA Omar.
Yeah, Omar Lobo,
That's me.
our favorite Fro Emperor.
The Fro Overlord. Thank you very much. It's more awe-inspiring, less scary, but not still like you're not scared.
And this is by far our most tangential intro ever.
Indeed, but everyone should enjoy it.
I
Now
don't.
that we have our good intro, what have you been playing, my friend?
What have I been playing
This whole week I was isolated from you.
other than with myself?
Oh,
Everyone saw that coming.
everyone has a
And
game, come on.
that not everybody.
Why? And we pray for them.
We do. We're gonna be having a fundraiser for them next week.
A Kickstarter, man. Kickstarter for new genitals.
So stay tuned for that. But the biggest game I've been playing this week is New Super Mario Brothers 2 for the Nintendo 3DS.
New Super Mario Brothers 2!
Fuck yeah.
That's how excited I needed to sound, because there's nothing much I can say. So how about you tell me what it's like, my friend?
You know what? If you've played New Super Mario Bros. DS, if you've played New Super Mario Bros. Wii, you've pretty much already played the concept of this game. Obviously, the levels are new, but as far as enemies and pretty much mechanics, it's all the same.
Hmm.
But that's not a bad thing in my opinion. It's really good. 80 new levels, probably more than that. Unlockable worlds, multiplayer, which I don't have anyone to play with, but that's pretty nifty.
Well, from what I've seen, speaking of the multiplayer, because I think that's going to be a big selling point for New Super Mario Bros. Interested people. I totally fucked that up, but okay. Um, the only complaint I have is that apparently the screen centers around the first player rather than on your own character, even if you're playing on your own DS. So that's kind of weird. I don't know why they chose to do that.
I would know nothing about that. That sounds like a flawed design choice. Probably something they could have fixed. They Just didn't feel like doing it. I don't know.
Do you think you could try and explain the logic behind the decision, or completely baffles you?
I mean, I'm not the genius that is Shigeru Miyamoto, so to even pretend to fathom for one moment that I could even think on his level is kind of
So what you're saying is you don't smoke weed and go to your garden to create Pikmin.
no.
Damn it, man.
I take acid and I jump in the swimming pool and I almost die.
Close enough, I guess.
I guess that's why we got Water World. I know
It's just that's no, man, no.
it's not one of my finest hours.
It really isn't. But
No.
anyway, my friend, what about the whole single player? What is it like exactly? Like, what did they change from the first and Wii one to this one?
Nothing. It's a cute question.
Okay, did they add anything?
Are you serious? New?
Look,
New
you
Super
know
Mario?
it's in my contract to fucking ask these questions, alright?
A new Super Mario Brothers 2?
Uh-huh.
There's nothing new. No, there is some new shit. There's uh golden mushrooms that give you 50 gold coins, and there's also a golden fire flower that turns you into gold Mario. And if you're Luigi, you turn into metal Luigi. And the fireballs that you shoot turns everything into coins, and it's like, whoa, coins everywhere.
First off, did you really turn into Metal Luigi?
Yes, he's silver.
Do you get like a raccoon tail and whatnot?
If you get the leaf, yeah.
Alright, so it's the same capabilities as Mario, he just looks like Metal Luigi.
Yeah,
Alright, that's pretty cool, I
but
guess.
no, it's awesome.
Oh, okay, that's pretty awesome, I guess. My bad.
And there's a new game mode called Coin Rush,
Mhm.
which just takes levels from the games, but you have only 100 seconds to get through the level and collect as many coins as possible. And although there's some stopwatches along the way you can get if you so choose, and that's pretty fun. It's just replaying the levels, but it's still pretty fun. And the fact that that exists kind of introduces something kind of cool in the main game, in which usually in like Super Mario Bros. Wii, it was so easy to jump on top of the flagpole and get a one up, you know.
Mhm.
In this one, in Coin Rush mode, if you get the top of the flagpole, it doubles your coin total. So obviously now in levels, it's much more difficult to get to the top. There's more hazards along the way. There's not as much footing for it. Although if you have the raccoon, if you have the super leaf active, it's still pretty simple to get to the top. But if you don't have that, like if you're in Golden Mario or Silver Luigi, it's pretty challenging. So that's pretty interesting. I'm glad they kind of made that, added a little challenge there.
Well, now you mentioned that if you dodge at the top of the ball, it multiplies by 2. Are there any other type of multipliers in the game?
No, not that I know of. Just jumping on top of the flagpole, and that's only in coin rush mode for anyone out there.
And you said also there's timers to increase your, well, it'll close to increase your timer. Does that play any role in the coin collecting? Do you get more coins for finishing fast or something?
I think for every 10 seconds you have left, you get a coin. So a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, that actually doesn't sound like much. Also another question: can you make progress in coin rush mode?
No. Well, you mean you like for the main game?
Yeah.
No, because they just randomly select three levels that you've already played, and
Oh,
you play three back to back levels, and there's no another challenging aspect is there's no lives. So if you die, you're done. You have to start over.
that's pretty cool.
Mm. And
And in single player mode, so I think that's pretty much all you can say about coin rush, right? Or is there anything
um,
else you want to add?
there's a one more thing I'd like to discuss about it because it's actually pretty big. Not a little late to the party, but coming soon, you'll be able to download brand new levels for Coin Rush mode. So it's pretty much the first time that a Mario game's ever had DLC. So that's pretty nifty.
But they're exclusive to Coin Rush mode.
Yeah, that's one thing that's kind of disappointing because it'd be cool. Or well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're exclusive to Coin Rush, but maybe you can play them outside of Coin Rush because I'm kind of hoping so because I'd like to just kind of go at my own pace maybe the first time, just enjoy the levels, see what they have to offer instead of just rushing through them. And
Yeah.
if I die, I die.
Well, it's mostly just because once you have a time limit, you actually need to breeze through them, and that kind of makes it so you don't want to replay them because you already beat the level pretty much. At least that's the way I feel with those kind of games. If I try to rush it, I feel like I actually just beat the level.
Hmm.
Like there's nothing more to squeeze out of it.
Yeah, and and about the game overall, one thing they well not introduced, but kind of like one of the big bullet points for the game is collect 1,000,000 coins. And surprisingly, it doesn't really have any bearing on the game itself. It's just kind of like an overall thing.
Hmm.
So that doesn't really do too much while you're playing. However, once you do kind of like once you beat the game and you're kind of just concentrating on getting 1,000,000 coins, it kind of introduces a new factor of kind of risk slash reward because there's these items throughout the levels. You remember how there's like the red rings that produce red coins?
Yes.
Well, there's new rings called gold rings, and when you jump through it, everything turns gold, and like lock twos will throw gold coins instead of the spiny shells. Um, Hammer Bros will throw coins instead of hammers, etc., etc. So you kind of keep, jumping for coins from them, and it kind of gets to the point where you have to decide either you keep collecting coins or you get out of there before they actually start throwing stuff again.
Hmm.
And then there's also other areas where maybe if you throw a Koopa Troopa once that mode's activated, um, as it after you throw its shell and it's moving across the level, it leaves behind a trail of coins, and that
That's
kind
cool.
of gets that gets pretty interesting too because then you might just have to start jumping over obstacles. So you have to decide if you want to try to get every single coin or if you just want to keep going and avoid getting hit.
Now, with all the coins you're getting everywhere, is it more like you get groups of coins and you go for those groups of coins that matter the most while still collecting everything? Or do you really try to get every single coin?
Hmm. For the most part, I just kind of it just depends on the level. If I was enjoying the level, I would go for every coin I saw. But then if a level was either giving me grief or I just didn't find it as fun, I just kind of if there's big groups, I'd go for them definitely. But I wouldn't go for every single coin in the level. I'd just kind of be like, okay, time to move on.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I was trying to figure out. If you were like in a straight line of coins and you for some reason jump and you skip one or two, would you go back and get those two or just keep going?
Only depends what I was doing. If I was doing coin rush, maybe, probably. But if I was just playing through the normal game, maybe not.
I see. Now, the level design, how would you compare it to the other ones? Is it just as creative or is it more in the linear, more boring? What is it like?
I would say it's probably better than the last two. Although it's close to Wii, I don't have a complete comparison yet. I'm for sure definitely better than the DS one,
Hmm.
but right now it's sticking out to me a little. It's sticking out to me better than the Wii version, though that's probably because I'm currently playing and I've played the Wii one in almost a year. But I think for the most part, it's probably better.
Well, I want to say that I found the Wii one a bit lackluster, especially compared to the DS one. This is coming from someone who didn't play the whole DS version. I must make emphasis on this. I played on a friend's DS and I played it on emulator. Uh, that being said, I played the whole Wii one. I found some levels to be really good, really interesting, but for the most part, I think it has a big amount of levels that are just very linear and very boring.
Hmm.
Like there's
I
no much jumping or skill involved. It's just run from point A to point B.
My biggest disappointment with the Wii version was definitely there's only like 3 or 4 levels with Yoshi.
Yeah, that's really disappointing.
Hmm.
I don't know why they don't skip Yoshi. I mean, everyone likes Yoshi, and if not, they just fucking skip it, or you can kill it.
I don't know, man. I think maybe they're too lazy and not too lazy, but maybe they just don't feel like designing levels based around Yoshi.
I guess that's true.
Don't want to make it. I don't know. Maybe they just. Uh, you know what? I don't fucking know. And I'm wondering if like there's all those baby Yoshis and New Super Mario Bros. U, but I'm wondering if an like adult Yoshi pops up at all. Like if you feed them enough, do they grow up? It doesn't look like it, and that's kind of disappointing because that's one thing I really liked about Super Mario World was when you got a baby Yoshi, you could feed it and make it grow up.
Well, I think they will grow up. I mean, there's no point in a baby Yoshi. They just kind of like
Well,
hover around.
in this one they have new abilities. Like each like a blue turns into a balloon. I forget what the other ones do, but like each color has its own ability, so
Hmm.
they have their uses. But I don't know. I'd like I don't know. I just hope regular Yoshi pops up too.
Yeah, that's more fun in my opinion.
It goddamn better. I fucking
Or you
quit.
will fucking blow Nintendo up, man.
I will.
Well, oh my
Sorry.
friend,
I'd like
Yoshi's are attacking you now.
they're pissed off. I'd like to get on a soapbox for a quick second and file a formal complaint to Nintendo about their bosses in New Super Mario Brothers 2 because they were completely lackluster.
What are
The
the bosses?
oh man, uh, not the you know how there's the tower halfway through and then there's a castle at the end.
Yes.
Obviously, the castle bosses are the Koopalings, which is awesome. That's great. The Koopalings are awesome. I'm glad they're back, and they better fucking stay. But because they're staples of the Mario franchise. And however, in the midway, the mid towers, the bosses are those Triceratop dinosaur things that stand on top of blocks.
Oh, from Super Mario World?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember them.
Now those are cool, but they're the boss for every single one. There's no variety. I mean, sometimes the first boss there's two of them, and then maybe by World 8 there's four of them, or eight of them, but there's really no variety in bosses. So that was pretty disappointing. And the last one, I will admit was challenging because you know how they're on that kind of like Ferris wheel type thing.
Yeah.
Um, there's no floor below them, so if you fall, you're fucking dead. So that's cool. That's challenging. But before that, there's just no challenge to them whatsoever. Sure, the floor collapsed and they breathe fire, but it was just so easy to avoid. And that brings me to the Koopalings. The Koopalings, again, like I said, awesome. I'm glad they're there. But well, not all of them, but like Ludwig von Koopa, he was pretty challenging in Super Mario Bros. I don't know if you remember that boss fight.
Can you tell me which one Ludwig van Coupe is?
He's the one with the crazy blue hair, and he's usually the World 7 boss.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he was the one in Super Mario Bros. Wii. Um,
He was the first world.
no, he was the seventh world in that one. Um,
What?
he's the one with all the platforms going up, and you have to jump like on platforms and whatnot.
Yeah,
And
that
him,
was in the first world.
that's the seventh world.
Bro, you're crazy.
You you want to YouTube this shit right on the show, man?
Now let's do this, and you know what? We'll add some footage to see who's wrong. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he's the first world in Super Mario Bros. Wii. Like blue, spiky hair, kind of like a mohawk.
No, not he doesn't really. I don't know. I'm not a hair guy, but I wouldn't say it's a mohawk. I mean, they all have crazy hair though, so
Well, maybe we're just thinking of different ones.
that's kind of a poor description.
The guy with the thing and the the thing, yeah. No, but if we're talking about the same one, he's in the first world.
No, we're not talking about the same one.
Okay, then that's just fucking tragic, man.
It is.
Discussing
Oh,
over nothing.
hold on. Don't. I think I just sent you the photo that you sent me earlier. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, hold on. Let me copy and paste that link again.
We're professionals here.
There you go. Do you see any like normal podcast slash professional podcast would edit this part out or like edit this.
Everything live.
Yeah, like they would edit this cleanly, so it'd just kind of be like, "No, bro, it's World 7." You'd be like, "No, bro, no, it's not." But then it'd cut to like, "Oh, you're right, bro," or like, "Well, bro," and then we like hug and make them on this in between.
Yeah, I was thinking of Larry, I think it is.
Larry's a faggot.
Well, the problem is that they both had the same fucking blue hair. But it's good that we talk about this because now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but yeah, that boss fight was kind of, obviously I beat it, but it presented a challenge. In this one, they're all so easy. Like there was no fear of death at all in any of these boss fights. Like I did not fear for my life at all, and that's a damn shame.
That's kind of something I started feeling with New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Again, recently, very recently, actually, like 2 days ago, I started playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii again, and I did the first two worlds, and I'm so disappointed with the bosses. You can pretty much just time yourself so you land on their heads constantly,
Mm.
and you will be over with the fight in like 20 seconds. It's very disappointing.
It is disappointing, and I don't know if they did this because of coin rush mode, so you could beat them quickly within your time limit, within 100 seconds. Because obviously a castle you have to actually get to the boss, So
I
I don't know if they.
did not imagine that actually. I thought you would just go through the levels.
Well, I mean, yeah, like the castle, is its own level, obviously, like in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. So I get, there is a part before the boss. I don't know if they made them easier because of coin rush mode, so you could
Mhm.
beat them quicker. Because I've actually ran it like, even though the bosses are easy, I've run out of time at once during coin rush mode because I wasted too much time collecting coins. So
Mhm.
I mean, in coin rush, maybe that's why, or maybe they just made it easy. I don't know.
Hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
So if you run out of time, do you just lose the whole thing?
Yeah, you do. Well, you get it. Like your coins, all your coins still go to the total, but yeah, you just start over. You have to start over if you want to try to get a solid score.
I got you now.
And I just want to end this new Super Mario Bros. 2 discussion with one thing. And for anybody who is a fan of this game and either is playing it or plans on playing it, spoiler alert. Not really. Spoiler alert. Do you care at all about spoilers for this?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It's a Mario game, dude.
The one the 1 million coin prize is a fucking new title screen. That's all it
Yeah, I
is.
heard about that. It's incredibly
That's all.
disappointing.
So I haven't gotten to 1 million coins yet. I only have 100,000. But that just like I was like, oh, that's it.
Make sure that you won't try to do that.
Yeah. So it's like ah. I mean, I still want to do because I want all my 5 stars on my profile, but but
So overall, how do you feel about this game compared to their ones? Would you say this is a game to get if you haven't played one of the new Super Mario franchise?
I think it's a very solid Mario game. You should definitely get it if you enjoyed the new Super Mario Bros. Games. It's not revolutionary, but honestly, I don't feel it has to be in this regard. There, we have the 3D Mario games that kind of like pushes the envelope, and these are safe titles, but they're fun. They're solid, well designed. So if you like the other ones, there's no reason not to get this. If you don't like the other ones, it's not gonna change. So,
All right, sounds like pretty good opinion then.
indeed. So I give this game 1 million coins out of 10.
So you say that we get a new title screen?
That we do. I should. I'm gonna change it.
That's pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah. All right. Enough about me. Who gives a shit about new Super Mario Brothers 2? The fuck
No
you
one
playing,
does.
bro?
That fucking game, no one cares, man. It's a fucking snoozer.
I know we just lost half our audience.
Yeah, I'll get it back with this. You ready for this shit?
Okay.
Hold on to your ass.
Holding.
Alright. Darksiders 2.
Yeah.
Okay? Your ass not fly off?
Yeah.
Careful, dude. You might lose your tongue.
No.
You're gonna lose your tongue. I'm warning you.
Eh.
Shing! No, but really, this game is fucking amazing.
Eh. No,
No. You don't understand, dude. It's fucking amazing.
Well, if it's fucking amazing, I'd like to hear more.
No, man, that's all I have to say, man. What the fuck do you want me to say?
All right, well, gang, thanks for listening tonight. I'm Rick.
I'm Omar, and good night.
Good night.
Dun, 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 dun.
Wait. Hold on. Hold on.
I think that's not gonna be recognized. Our producers are telling us that we need to give it a better rating than it's fucking amazing out of 10.
Ha. Those faggots. What do they know?
I know, man. So let's talk about some Darksiders 2.
Ah, okay.
That game, I
It's
love it.
fucking amazing.
It's
You love
fucking amazing.
it.
No, really,
Yeah,
I've been praising this game to everyone I know, basically, because how much it blew my mind.
it blew my fucking mind.
Well, the thing is, I was hyped about this title. I'm not gonna say I was completely unbiased. The thing is that I was not that hyped. I just really wanted to play it, especially for the first one and the ending it had. Um, what I can say though is that the finished product is way better than I thought it was going to be. I pretty much imagined a Darksiders 1, but a sequel, maybe improved in some areas and with different character, but I definitely did not expect this. You are thrown into the game at first, and you already have a horse, and you're in a huge ice wasteland. Now, the reason why it impresses me so much, because we've seen ice fucking levels before, that's not a big thing, or horses. The main thing about that is that you start with a horse, which I find really neat, and you can ride it anywhere you want that is not a very closed area. The reason for this is that you're invincible pretty much when you're on your horse, and you are more powerful, so it'll be cheap. So just like a little bit of balance there. The cool thing is magnitude. I think the best way to describe this game is with magnitude. Everything is so big, everything's fucking colossal. The first level, as I said before, has you doing your stuff in an island, and then you go through this like ice palace, and you go climbing a wall. When you start climbing this wall, you look to your right a little bit, and you realize that you're climbing a fucking giant ass mountain. It's like you're climbing Mount Everest, except vertical, completely vertical. And just the side of everything being so big and you being so tiny is really compelling for some way. Um, Also, I gotta say the new character, which is Death. For the first one, it was War. This one is Death. First off, I like the character difference. Uh, for War, you were pretty much this big, bulky, heavy dude, if you remember. Um, for this one, you're not weak. You're not small. Nothing like that. You're actually really tall. Just small in comparison to all the things you talk to and fight. Um, but you're very muscular, and here's the big difference that at first it was kind of hard to get used to because I did not have a big period between Darksiders 1 and 2. I expected, as I said before, a lot of the same things in combat and movement. Instead, I get a very nimble guy, someone who cannot block anymore. 'Cause if my memory doesn't fail me, you could block, right? In the first one?
Yeah, you could.
Well, in this one, when you try to press what on the keyboard was Alt, and with that you blocked, it hears you flip. You can do like back flips, side flips, forward flips, but you basically dodge. So the combat turns from blocking and just destroying everything and feeling like a really heavy, bulky guy into a really strong but nimble guy. And to top it off, I think it was the same in the first one. Your health doesn't regenerate. You take damage, you're damaged. Um, cool thing is the new weapons too. The first one had your sword, and you could have a secondary weapon, which was a scythe, a gauntlet, a gun. Which the gun.
The gun was terrible in the first game.
Oh man, more on that soon. But basically, in this one you have your scythes, which are like the default thing, which they couldn't take away because he's death. It just kind of makes sense. But on top of that, you can get different kinds of weapons. You can get like short range weapons, which are melee, like claws, like Wolverine kind of thing. You can get axes. You can get hammers. You can get. I think I'm missing one type of weapon. But either way, those are all different kind of weapons. They feel very different. They have different combos. They have different moves, and they interact different with your sights because you can do like cross combos kind of thing. So you can start attacking with your sights twice and then change it up to your claws, and because you did that, you will spin around in the air with your claws or something like that. A really cool way to handle everything like that, and it makes for a way more dynamic gameplay. But the thing is that because of the nature of the character, he also cannot do things that you could do in the first one. The first one, I don't know if you remember this, but I kind of thought it was really cool because I hate climbing in games. When you climb through a wall, not through, up a wall, you could jump. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And you would just like cover a lot of distance in that wall because you could jump while you were climbing. In this one, you cannot do that anymore, but you crawl really fast. But the cool thing is that you also get new skills that you didn't have before. One of them being in the first one, you could turn into this giant colossus guy with two swords, which was like the chaos form, I think it was called.
I don't remember.
Well, basically, when you attack enemies, you fill up a meter.
Yeah.
This guy has the same thing, but way sooner in the game.
Ooh.
And it's interesting because you are very nimble still in that form, just very strong as well. Just they completely changed the feel of the character, and also the whole jumping around instead of blocking makes you feel more nimble. But another cool thing they added is the platforming. Before it used to be just you climb up a wall, you leave the wall, and that's it. In here, there's a lot of platforming. There's wall running, there's wall jumping, there's continuous wall jumping, like between wall and wall, like triangle jump. Uh, Again, wall running, big thing in this game. There's also some really long walls that have little bows in the wall. You just kind of like cling to them to get a new boost and just keep running along the wall. Um, the way I would describe the first one is a mix of Legend of Zelda and perhaps Devil May Cry. That's the way it felt to me.
That's a pretty interesting combination. That's pretty cool.
In this one, it's Legend of Zelda, Ninja Gaiden, Prince of Persia, and the cool thing is that I think it actually improves because you know how much many people were saying that it's a ripoff, and how Darksiders 1 brought nothing new to the table, it just borrowed from a lot of games.
Yeah.
I think the second one could hardly be accused of that, not because it doesn't borrow from other games, but because it improves greatly on them. For
Mm-hmm.
Legend of Zelda, I think it does the dungeons a bit better, just because the stuff you find in the dungeons, at least so far, I could be wrong for the next ones, but at least so far I'm about 6, 7 hours in. The stuff you find on the dungeons and for the dungeons, you can use outside the dungeons. That's something I really dislike about games like Twilight Princess, where some items you could just only use in that dungeon, and aside from that, they had no use. Um, Another cool thing I really like is in Prince of Persia, often you find that the platforming is just alright, but that's it. The combat was never very interesting. This has very fast-paced platforming, feels very fluid. You jump from like vines to vines and poles to poles and a bunch of shit like that. But when you land, you have enemies to fight, and the combat feels really good, which brings me to my Devil May Cry point. I think this has a lot of enemies, but the combat always feels very fluid and very brutal. There's parts where I actually was attacking, and then I realized that I had already killed the enemy, was just wanted to continue my combo. And there's a lot of combos you can do, a lot of variants. I think that's really cool. And the big thing that everyone was talking about was the fact that this game has a ton of stats and loot. Let me explain that. For the first one, unless my memory fails me, you didn't have a skill tree, did you?
No.
Well, in this one, you get levels first off, which is something already new.
Mm-hmm.
So kill enemies, you get experience and you get levels. When you reach a new level, which is not a hard to reach, I'm like level 6 right now, and I didn't fight that much. There's a lot of traversing. There's a lot of dialogue. It feels more like an RPG kinda, but at the same time, it's not overwhelming where you're just like shut the fuck up, I just want to fight.
Yeah.
It has a good combination of that. And so when you get a new level, you get experience, you get new level, you get new stats, obviously, but you get a skill point. That skill point you can put into one of two skill trees. One being a warrior one, and one being a necromancer kind of thing. Necromancer, you get to summon crows, ghosts, and whatever you want. And then you get to upgrade those skills with new skills attached to those. Each skill has 3 levels, which you can upgrade, obviously. And the cool thing is that you also have, for example, level 11, you unlock a certain skill, but you don't have to put a point into anything. So you can just save up all your points and start from a new one at level, let's say 11, 25, whatever hell you want. You don't have to start from the very beginning. This allows you to actually go from a little bit of warrior and a little bit of necromancer. I don't know yet if you can max both traits, by the way.
That would be something for. That'd be nice replay value if you could.
If we, I think it's really interesting to just think about going through the game once in a certain way and then in another way.
Playing it differently.
Yeah, yeah. Like the tree I'm going with is the water one, because I'm a big going face to face and just going raw. Uh,
Just like fucking Poseidon, man.
yeah, man. Well, except not in the water.
Touche.
Which, by the way, there's swimming in this game. Very little, but there is, and it feels great. There's no breathing. I hate water levels, and I hate underwater shit in games. They always feel clunky. They always feel slow. I hate them.
Yeah, I can't think of too many positive water levels unless the game like took completely place underwater.
Yeah, like even then, I cannot think of anything
Me
good that
neither.
comes from water levels. Like Rayman Origins had water
Oh,
levels.
ugh. Do
Yeah,
I
and,
know
and they
it?
were well done. You cannot say they were poorly designed. It's
They
just,
suck because they're water.
yeah, that's the thing. It's just because they're underwater. They feel clunky and they feel slow and sluggish.
Hmm.
And here you feel fast. You dive around really fast and you can get in and out really fast and you don't have a breath meter.
Thank
So
God.
yeah, there's nothing annoying like that. Um, so yeah, skill trace. Going with the water one, it's very face to face kind of thing. But the necromancer one is just summoning things and letting them fight for you. Should be kind of interesting to see the difference between those two trees. And for the loot goes, you have armor, you have, well, shoulder piece of armor, you have a chest armor, you have boots, you have belt, I think, uh, amulets. There's like 6 or 7 slots. And the cool thing about this whole thing is that each thing has its own stats. Like you have health regen, health on hit, health on execution, which is when you press when they get this symbol over their heads and you press a key and you execute them.
Is that pretty? Is that brutal?
That is pretty brutal, dude. It's
what,
pretty
what
metal, guy.
pretty pretty metal.
It is pretty metal.
Did you like what's the executions like?
It's pretty much the same in the second as the first one. Sorry, the difference is that I haven't seen that many. I don't know if it's just because, as I said, this game is very brutal. I find myself, because I go with sights and claws, I find myself doing a lot of big and heavy combos, and I get like fucking 30 hits, 50 hits, God knows how many hits in like 2 enemies. Because you can do so much stuff to like juggle them, and it feels so good. It's so satisfying.
Makes you feel like you're death, man. You can just go out and just start killing people and tell grandmas to come with you.
Yes, definitely. But well, the fun thing is that the first one, they captured the essence of being a very heavy guy and just powerful.
A war machine, if you will.
Yeah, and just like with the execute, you would slam your sword and cut them in half and all that shit.
Hmm.
In this one, you're just wailing on them. Like a good combo that I really enjoy is hitting them twice with the scythe, and then if you press jump, instead of jumping, you do like a kick, a backflip kick thingy, and with that they're in the air. So from there you can start just juggling them and end up like smashing them into the ground. And by the time you do that, there's no chance to execute them because they're dead.
They're beyond execution.
Yeah, they're just like fucking mush.
The bonus, the special attack would be you burying them,
Just grab a shovel and start just digging.
giving them a prayer or something like that.
Um, Also, I think there's a chance because I got some gear that said chance to execute or something like that. So I'm guessing that factors in since you can get health and execute and whatnot to make it a bit more balanced. But you get something new that I find kind of interesting. In the first one, when you would finish an enemy off, you would always do it as war. Just doing your own shit, punching them, fucking flipping them off, whatever you wanted. In this one, you turn into this. You know how I mentioned the chaos form?
Yeah.
You turn into your chaos form and you start just wailing on them as this a giant spectral death. But you never do it as a tall but tiny death guy. It's always that big spectral thing. It's only for mini bosses or bosses, so it's not that constant, but it does have a very significant visual to it. There's one thing I don't like, and I think that's pretty much the thing I could say I don't like so far about this game, is the fact that they changed the currency. You don't get souls anymore. You get coins.
Oh man, this game is such a Super Mario Brothers ripoff.
I know, right? Fucking bullshit.
Do you get a new title screen if you get 1,000,000 coins?
You know what? Maybe.
You get an achievement.
Probably. Um. Also, I got the DLC weapons and shit, but I did find them to be a bit too strong, so I sold them. And between selling them and just the money you find by killing enemies, breaking bases, and whatnot, I went way past the 50,000 coins. And in the store, the most expensive movement I could find, sorry, was 10,000. Most on average were 1,000.
Yeah, so you were did you just go fucking crazy buying them, or are you not buying them because you're fucking hardcore?
I bought them all.
Yeah. So are you like a killing machine now? I mean, your death you should be. So
Well, the thing is, they don't make you more powerful because they don't add any stats or anything like that.
I so there's like combos, right? Or maybe not combos, but moves.
Yeah,
Just like I'm using controller language here. I know you use keyboards, but like an attack that's like X and Y, bam, fucking you
yeah.
shoot fire everywhere.
Well, not that significant, sadly, but it's, for example, at first you do X, X, and Y, and that makes you spin. Now you can do X, X, pause, X, X, Y. So you have like a bigger combo and it looks more appealing.
Stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap.
Yes, it's exactly like that. So it doesn't really make you stronger, it's just more fun to play with, and it gives you more possibilities in the combat.
More variety.
Yeah, it's definitely more fun that way.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, the loot makes a big difference in this. Uh, kind of being a crutch for people who need it, but also kind of adding to the gameplay. And if you want to just be like very challenging games, you can just go with default stuff and do nothing to anything and see how long you last.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool that you kind of tweak it on your own without having to tweak the difficulty level per se. You can just, like, oh,
Definitely.
I want this to be harder, so I'm not going to use these moves, or I'm not going to use these weapons.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I ended up doing actually, because I'm a big fan of lifesteal items. Basically, when you hit something, you recover for a certain amount of the damage you did.
Mhm.
So I sold everything, nothing that had high damage. Like, in fact, I'm finding stuff now that is more powerful than my possessed weapons. More on that soon. And I just kind of kept the weak ones that have lifesteal because it's fun to play that way. Although not that challenging because you get health potions. You get 5, and then you're screwed.
Son of a bitch.
The most I've used in a fight was 1 health potion.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing. But at least you don't regenerate health, which I really appreciate for some reason.
Yeah, it's good.
As I said before I forget about these 2 details, the gun. The gun in the first one sucked ass. It was
Wait,
just.
there was
Sorry?
a gun in the first one?
Yeah, basically.
No, yeah.
It was using one boss, as far as I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Then nothing.
Yeah, it was as useful as a poopy diaper.
Yeah, and it was even shitty for like super weak enemies. It was just a horrible item.
Yeah, it was only useful in like one boss battle, and that
Yeah,
was when you were like in the desert on the horse.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
because that's the only thing you could use. Because believe you me, even if it was more difficult and I had the option to use something else, I totally would have.
I think you can do it with a sword, can you?
I think you might partially, but I think you like. I'm pretty sure there's points where you do have to use the gun. I think. I don't know. People, you should go out and play, find out for yourself.
Well, truth is that even then, it's not fun to use a sword for that
No.
fight. It's just tedious as hell.
Yeah.
And aside from that, the gun was just pointless. But in this one, while not amazing, it serves more of a purpose. The reason is that in the first dungeon, you get that gun really early on. You get like 2 hours in, maybe. And there's context for it because it's the same gun. And there's historical context for it, which I find really neat. And by the dungeon, which is 5 minutes later, maybe, you're actually using the gun for puzzles, which I find really neat because it actually made me use gun.
Yeah.
Also,
Give
it feels way more powerful in this one. There's in that dungeon, there's floating heads, which I was at first just using my juggling combo to get two and then just wail on them midair. But the gun is actually strong enough to take them down by just shooting them.
Well, that's good. I mean, just any any reason to use it is nice because it just was so pointless in that game, and it just kind of begs the question, like, why did you waste your time making this if it was so useless?
Yeah.
So I'm glad there's puzzle interaction too, because using it with puzzles is pretty cool, and it just makes you think, like, what else do you think they could have did with the time that they spent making that gun in the first game? You know,
Yeah, it's definitely a bit depressing in the first one. This one I think it's really well done. I
it's
mean,
good.
at least so far from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's time to fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. The puzzle basically consists of making you blow shit up with that gun.
Blowing shit up is very nice.
It is. And the last point I wanted to address was the possessed weapons. These weapons are, well, each weapon has a different color. There's green, purple, orange, and blue maybe. I don't know. There's an option where you can auto pick up loot, and I just have that on by default 'cause I'm not gonna read everything while I'm playing. I do find a lot of loot, but for the most part, I'm not reading what each one does. I just play. When I level up, I tend to change my gear. Uh, the cool thing is that the possessed weapons are a certain level and a certain kind of strength and have their own stats, right? So what you do is you find gear that has stats and you sacrifice to your possessed weapon. You basically feed it to it. Once you have fed a certain amount of weapons, you will evolve your weapon, so to say. It changes level, it increases its stats, its strength, and whatnot, and it gains one of the 5 possible stats that each weapon has. So you feed it, for example, a bunch of strength and a bunch of health regen and something else. It has a chance of getting one of those three. The cool thing is that you select which one you want it to have. And by the end, it has like 5 stats on it, by level 5, I think. And you cannot upgrade it any further. But by then, it's worth a lot of money if you want to sell it. And it has awesome stats that are personalized for your character. That, along with the whole gear and armor thing you can equip to your characters to make it look unique, because whatever you equip will actually reflect on both cutscenes and gameplay. It's actually a visual change, not just gear kind of thing. Between those two things, your character is very unique to your playstyle and to the way you want to play and you want to look and whatever you want. And I find that extremely cool.
That is really cool. I really like how, you know, because in the first game there wasn't very much customization at all. Like off the top of my head, isn't the only thing you can, as far as armor and appearance goes, it isn't the only thing the abyssal armor.
Yeah, and you had to collect all the pieces to have that.
Yeah, yes, but in this one, I'm glad. Like I really like hearing all these RPG elements because like it's not an RPG, but I think they're using the elements really well for their action adventure game.
Definitely, they're doing an amazing job at mixing a lot of RPG elements into an action game. It makes it so the whole button mashing thing doesn't feel as button mashing, but it also more makes it more satisfying, and I really enjoy that. It's just an amazing game. I love it so far, and I hope I enjoy loving it because so far I'm doing that.
Well, if you love it so much, why don't you marry it?
You know what? If I could, I would.
You
I think
should.
it's promised for someone else though, so
Oh,
you know what it is, man.
it's a damn shit. Well, you should kick that guy's fucking ass.
I will. Fucking war is dead, man.
um, so I have a question.
Yes.
Before the game came out, kind of like when the first game had just came out and they were discussing a sequel and talking about ideas and whatnot, they said that the sequel was going to take place during the first game. Is this is that do they stick to that or does it take place after the first game or?
It takes place parallel to the first one.
Mhm.
Um, it kind of makes me want to go play the first one because I'm trying to remember a few things from the first one story wise.
Mhm.
But if you go into the second one blind, you will still understand everything. It's very explicit in what it does, but in a very subtle way. It's not like straight up explained to you. So here's what happened in the first one, even though you didn't play. It just
Last
does,
time on Darksiders.
yeah, nothing like that. It's just very subtle of, well, my brother did this, but you're stupid, so he didn't really
Fuck
do
you.
it.
Well, that's pretty cool. Because the ending to the first game was pretty, pretty sweet. You know, pumped me up.
Yeah. I
And
really
it,
hope they finish like the whole franchise because the story has me intrigued.
yeah, oh, definitely. And that's without playing the second game. Now, have you beaten this, or are you still going through it?
I'm still going through. Apparently, the game is like 20 hours long.
Yeah, how long you been playing it?
6 to 7 hours, I think.
Disappointing. No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll have my full hours by review. Um,
You better. You
so
bet.
far the game is really good story wise. The dialogue and the characters are very memorable. It's very good dialogue. The voice acting is pretty amazing. Um, I don't want to give up too much of it, but one of the first couple of characters you talk to have an accent, and the accent is actually really good.
What kind of accent?
Irish,
Ooh, Irish. Nice.
and he's like these giant burly guys, and you actually fight one of them to get a skill point.
Nice. I thought you
And
were going to say they were leprechauns at first.
no, 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 no.
Oh, sha, sha, sha,
You
sha.
look like a leprechaun in comparison. That's how massive they are.
Nice.
It's really fucking nice, and it makes you feel like you're actually fighting badasses, which makes you feel like more of a badass, you know?
Yeah. Oh no, I feel you.
Also, one cool thing they added is in the first one, I found that sometimes, only sometimes, some enemies took forever to die. And I wanted to know how much longer I'll have to wait on them for them to die. In this one, they have health bars. Not all the time, because if you're not focusing on them, they will have nothing.
Hmm.
If you do like the C targeting from Zelda, you will
Yeah.
focus on one of them, which you can change very easily, by the way, and they have health bars, and you see them dropping in real time and everything. So
Wow.
working health bars.
Real time weapon or real time health bars.
Indeed, real time health bars.
I thought that was only possible on the PlayStation 3.
No, man, they only have real time weapon switching.
Oh my bad. Is there giant enemy crabs in this game?
Quite possibly. Not confirmed, but quite possibly. There's actually something similar to a giant enemy crab, funny enough.
Lobster.
Nee.
Yeah.
Nee. You'll see once you actually fight it. Because you definitely need to play this game.
Oh, I will. I'll tell them what I told you. I'll definitely be picking up when it's $10 to $13 on Amazon.
You know what?
What?
I think it's worth 20.
Uh, yeah.
Now
I
I'm
mean,
gonna say, I think this game worth full price. If you can't get it now, just do it. If you were like kind of hesitant, and you like the first one, but not that much, and it's a really great game. It improved a lot on the first one. But if it has a price drop, you definitely should check it out.
yeah, if I had like a steady flow of income, I probably would pick it up now. But since I'm a cheap bastard,
Oh no, understandable. I'm gonna pick it up again when it's a bit lower, just
yeah.
because I really
Oh
want
no,
to
no.
support this company.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially since the publisher THQ is in some serious shit right now.
Yeah, they might be going under,
In
but
my
my opinion from Darksiders 2 and the lineup they have coming up, I think they will pull through.
Me too. Me too. I hope they do.
I haven't seen any numbers for the sales yet, but I think the game has been well received overall.
Yeah. I'm hoping it does better than the first one because, I mean, obviously the first one did well enough to get a sequel, and the sequel, the PS3 version has some bugs, but other than that, like fucking solid entry, improves upon everything, every aspect of the first game. So
Yeah.
hopefully people pick up on that and buy it and support it.
Yeah,
Or
and another thing I must add is that the soundtrack is amazing. It's a really well done soundtrack. I think it's by a famous guy that has been doing a lot of soundtracks lately that everyone is praising a lot. I think
uh,
that he did the one from Assassin's Creed 3. Could be wrong. Point is, the soundtrack is really good.
would you go as far as to download it?
Yes.
Have you already?
No. Some parts are like when you fight a lot of enemies, you have a lot of badass music blasting. It's not really metal or anything like that. That would guarantee, the title Death. It's more like just awesome music, awesome battle music, kind of like orchestrated kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And at the end, it always ends in the same beat, kind of tune thing. It's hard to explain, but it ends in the same way that really pumps me up and tingles my ears. It's really, really well done.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. Looking this bro up right now, he did the soundtrack for Borderlands too. That's pretty nifty.
That's
Oh,
gonna be really
and
interesting.
the first one too. Good for him. Good for this guy.
Indeed, indeed.
I think
Cheerio, mate.
we're gonna do a whole special on this guy soon.
Just focus on him from when he was a baby shitting his pants. Or diaper, rather.
We have video footage of his birth.
Yes. The third one. The best one.
All right, so is that your final conclusion on Darksiders 2?
I think so. All I can say is that the worlds are really big. The
Right.
environments are beautiful.
Beautiful.
They feel very varied. There's Iceland, there's wasteland, there's giant forest. It's really varied and just very massive. Everything feels massive in this game. And there's a lot of quests and side quests. So there's a lot of replayability with that, the loot, the skill trees, just everything you get. And there's a lot of collectibles as well. So the amount of fun you can squeeze out of this game is massive. I guarantee the very least you'll get is 20 hours. And you can very possibly get way more if you do all the side quests and whatnot. The side quests also, I must add, feel actually like a side quest, not a side gathering.
Hmm.
I hate those side quests where you just collect 10 of this. I really
Oh,
hope it doesn't turn that way later on in the game, but so far it's like, go kill this guy who has a specific name and will be hard to kill.
oh, that's good. That's really good.
It's really good so far. There's very few flaws I can find of, and the best way I can define this is a love letter, if not to gamers, which I think it could be called that, at least to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the game's speaking to you, man.
It is, man. It's telling me very sweet things as I play it.
It's beautiful.
It's called me the other voices tell me to murder my family.
Well, you're going to, right?
It depends. I kind of want to play more, man.
Yeah, we'll play it first and then see where you go from
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
there.
But anyway, that's all, my friend. That's all I should say about Darksiders 2. You should just play it as soon as possible. It's an amazing game.
Well, you heard that there, folks. It's an amazing game, and you should play it as soon as possible.
Indeed.
I haven't played it, but fuck it, I agree with him. Because I played the first game, so that means I've played an inferior version of this game.
Yeah, and if
Which,
you enjoyed it, you will enjoy this. There's no fucking saying it other way.
exactly. So,
Oh,
fucking. Oh,
sorry. One last thought.
one last thought. What? No, I'm
For
kidding.
fucking what, man? You're interrupting me. Now, just before I forget, there's been talk about the PC issues, quote unquote. Basically, the fact that it doesn't have as many visual options as you should have for a PC port.
Wham.
Well, it only has a VSync and resolution. For those that
Wham.
know what it is, and I'm like, wah. You know fucking what? They're
What?
patching that shit in.
Fuck yeah, patches.
Woo, Steam!
Mission accomplished.
So yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
Well, I think everybody here and at home was glad that you added that.
It's really important, man. Someone could have died if I didn't.
It is important. You know what? Someone did die because you did it. But if you didn't do it, two people would have died.
Well,
So God bless you.
I saved a life somewhere.
Exactly.
And
Well, gang, we've reached almost an hour. And you know what?
we're
Fuck
going
it, I don't give
for
a shit. I'm done. I quit. The
okay.
show's over.
Fine.
But I suppose if we do this again next week, which is highly unlikely, that you can find us, on fucking YouTube, Legion of We podcast. You find us on Legion of We.
Gutter.
Let me get the URL for anybody that doesn't go there. If you're interested in video games, now the forum's called Legion of We, but we're not exclusive anymore. But if you like video games and you want to hang out with some cool guys and girls ish,
Girl.
yeah, go to just Google Legion of We. That's much easier than the URL I have for you. So just Google it. It'll be the first thing that comes up.
Yeah.
Legion of We.
And also, we must mention that the name is there because that's how we started. Well, you
Say,
guys started and I joined.
well, you know what? Well, yeah, but then we started out as fucking Mario Strikers Charged. But like, how long is that gonna last?
Yeah. And I must mention that by now we're not Legion of Wii anymore. We're pretty much exclusive to everything but
What?
the Wii.
You know what? I was actually thinking about that today. I was like, I'm considering going on the board, the forum, and asking people, hey, should we change our name again? Should we just be like Legion of Gamers, or like change it to something just gaming related? Then at the same time, I was like,
Should.
what? But then I was like, do we feel like even doing it, like bothering with it?
Hell yeah. So you heard it here. You heard it here first, guys. Although you
Yeah.
probably will read the topic before you hear our podcast.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna make a topic. If you listen to this, you send us fan mail and you tell us if we should change the name of the forum.
Send us
And
fucking fan mail. We've been asking for it. No one sends us anything. What the fuck?
exactly, which in turn would make us change the name of the podcast, which means I'd have to make a new YouTube page. So you know what? Maybe not. I don't think we're gonna change.
Just laziness for the win, man. All right.
No, but seriously, send your thoughts to us. I'm not gonna make a topic yet. I'll give the topic like 2 weeks, so you can kind of get a head start in the debate.
And name thinking.
And keep on keeping on staying tuned for the live show that'll be happening soon. We're still planning it.
We're
And
checking all the details.
exactly. And next week's episode's gonna be a little different. We're gonna try to do kind of like a format change, where basically what we did tonight is still part of the show, but we just have other segments to kind of future proof our show, and at the same time just throw some other topics in there, get some more info out there, our
Indeed.
thoughts
And
with
a
the
bit less linear. There's going to be less about a specific game, so it's not half an hour of a certain game and half an hour of another game that you don't give a shit about.
yeah, which you should, but
Fucking Darksiders is amazing!
yeah.
Sorry, steroids.
But we have a special surprise for you guys this week, and it'll be up immediately after this, after we end. So
Perhaps even sooner.
exactly. Dun 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 dun.
In fact, by the time you hear this, there might be the sequel to our surprise. But stay tuned in case you for some reason miss it.
Exactly. And like we said in the beginning, I'm Omar,
I'm Rick,
and thanks
aka
for listening.
Hyper Metal Sonic.
And I'm Omar, aka Omar Lobo, and thanks for listening. Have a fantastic week.
You fucking impressed, man. You fucking impressed.